Hello, welcome to this presentation. My name is Kunjumon Vadakkan. I study the nervous system to understand how it operates. I have a conflict of interest to declare. In the previous presentations, I have explained the need for building a hypothesis to understand the nervous system functions. A hypothesis has to explain all the functions of the nervous system observed at various levels. So while building a hypothesis, it is required that the system should be operating under certain constraints. So today in this presentation, I am going to explain some of the constraints that we have to keep in order to build the hypothesis. The general points that we have to take into consideration are that the operation of the system has to function in unison with the synaptically connected neurons within the system. Secondly, the functions, the higher brain functions such as memory, perception, thought process, emotions, these are all first person inner sensations. So we have to have a mechanism to explain the formation of the units of inner sensations. Thirdly, the inner sensation has to be induced at physiological time scales. And fourthly, the system become aware at a certain frequency of extracellular potentials. So these are the four basic operational constraints that we have to take into account while building a hypothesis. In addition, there are other general constraints that we have to take into account. Say for example, when the system associates two items, then there should be specific signatures. So for example, if this is one item and if this is another item, there should be a specific signature that interconnects these two items. And when this second item, if it is associated with a third item, then there should be another association between those two. And if the third one goes to get associated with the fourth one, then there should be a mechanism to associate them. And so these are specific signatures of these associations. So once these associations between these four items are formed, then we can say that these four are part of a group. So there are grouping of these associations. And similarly, there could be different groups. So this is one item. This is another item. This is a third item here. And this is a fourth item. And here the groupings, these are associated. There is an association between these two, there is an association between these two, and there is an association between these two. And these items are completely different because they have some stripes within it. And so this grouping is completely different from this grouping. And so these two groups has to be remain separate. From this group should be remaining separate from this group. There should be a mechanism to maintain and isolate these two groups from interacting with each other. So when the animal propagates through the environment, there are several previously associated items that are coming to the system. And the animal cannot afford to induce inner sensations of specific memories of each of those items. It's going to perceive large number of sensory inputs, and it's going to induce virtual inner sensations of very large number of items or events that it associatively learned in the past. But the animal is going to take care of only those stimuli which are essential for its survival. So what is going to happen to all those background stimuli that are arriving to the sensory receptors of this animal? The animal is not going to pay any attention. So there is no attention to those stimuli that are not noxious to this animal or that are not essential for the survival of the animal. So those stimuli, we can say that they originate from shared physical properties of items or events that are present in the environment. So very large number of physical properties are shared. So they evoke inner sensations, and we can consider that as a background inner sensation towards which the animal is not going to pay any attention. So this is the background inner sensation. Because if the system is going to pay attention to all those sensory stimuli that are coming from the environment, then the animal cannot pay attention to those that are essential for its survival. So by ignoring those sensory stimuli that are not noxious or that are not essential for survival of the animal, the nervous system of the animal will have an advantage to survive in that environment. So there will be a background inner sensation generated within the system, upon which once in a while the system will receive sensory stimuli that are essential for its survival. Say for example, it's finding some favorable food items that it can pay attention and go and eat. So that is going to induce a specific inner sensation. Or it might find noxious stimuli which it has to avoid in order to survive. So those stimuli will be brought to the attention part of the animal's nervous system. So this will be an efficient operation of the system. So while building a hypothesis, these constraints have to be taken into account. So once we can build a hypothesis that can satisfy all these constraints as well as can explain all the features that are observed at various levels, then we have a further testable hypothesis. Those hypotheses can then make predictions that we can go and verify. We can go and examine nervous systems of remote species to see whether the expected operations are present in those nervous systems or not. And once we satisfy all the features at these different levels, then we can go and conduct the gold standard test of its replication in an engineered system. I hope you understood the importance of keeping these constraints while building a hypothesis. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me below this video or email me. I will be happy to answer them as much as I can. Thank you very much for your attention and have a great day.